Hello, my shiny peoples. Crystal Katsune here. And we're back again with the Crystal Caves. Episode whatever. I'm sorry, I forgot to see what episode it was. 5. We're on episode 5 of... Come on, I don't want that. Go away. I swear, this thing. Sometimes it makes me mad. Okay, so we're on episode 5 of Crystal Caves. And we should be almost done with this particular version, like volume 1 as it says up there, because volume 2 or we don't have too many more levels left. Excuse me. And it we've got a few levels left. There's only hopes in actually getting them done, because some of the levels are, I mean, they're not hard, they're just really a pain in the ass, more than anything, because like with this level here, you've got all these little snake dudes, right, and you have to watch out for them, because otherwise they will hurt you like that one just did just a second ago. So you have to pretty much watch where you're going at all times, and you can't eat this green mushroom or you'll die instantly. It's a poisonous mushroom. Okay, so I need to go back up this direction. So today was my mom's birthday, and well, when you see this, it'll be the day after. So the day after was my mom's birthday. Yesterday, when you see this, yesterday was my mom's birthday. And it's also Father's Day. So we celebrated, kind of, sort of. My mom and stepdad were actually supposed to be up here to celebrate it, but it's like, it was way too freaking hot today, and they didn't get out of the house until like really late, and they wouldn't have got here until like 6, and that's usually around dinner time. So we decided them to postpone the trip and come another day. So they didn't come, obviously, since we told them to go wait until another day. So instead, we just sat around and did a lot of nothing, had the air conditioner on, because like I said, it was hot. I got some hair or something crawling all over my arm. Yeah, my hair crawls all over my arm. And I have the fan down here because it's hot. We did have the air conditioner on. It was on just till a few minutes ago. And I turned it off because it's like really super noisy. So I decided against turning it on, or leaving it on, because of the noise. It would be way noisy. Oh, come on. So I'm sitting here with this really loud fan here at my side, blowing air onto me, and you're probably hearing the roar of it. I was so close. I just had the line, and then I could have left. The only bad thing about this kind of game is like they're unforgiving. So it's like you have to get it right in 3 tries or you die. I mean, not 3 tries initially, but like 3 tries. Like you only get hit 3 times or you die. So you have to time things and jump at the right time, and I mean, I find them fun. I mean, I like the old DOS games, and it's so nostalgic to sit here and look at the terrible, like, pixelation of, you know, old DOS-style games with this color scheme. I'm not doing this on purpose, I swear. I was like, this whole episode is gonna be nothing but this one fucking episode. So today was Father's Day, and my mom's birthday, and my grandmother's birthday, I should say, because my mom and stepdad are up in Reno, and my grandmother, fuck me. See, I can't talk and concentrate at the same time. And we have to do this level anyway because, it's one of the ones we have to do in order to beat the game, so... See, once you get towards, like, the end, the levels start getting a lot harder. Not, like, super hard or anything, it's just really, like, more paying attention and knowing what you're doing more than anything. And then there's, like, a homage to, like, Mario right here, because it's a pipe on top of a hill. So yeah, I don't really fucking care about the key, that just gives us extra points when you open up the chests and whatnot. So I don't really care about it. So now we'll go back up here. Not eat the mushroom. Okay, so we got those. Now we can grab these 4 here, and that should be it. Provided that I don't die between then and now and then. Okay, good. Now we should be able to exit the premises. Okay. We're done with that episode. We still got time to spare, so we can do another level. Okay, so like I said before, like a lot of these levels, like towards the end of the volume, they get a little bit harder. So you have to like watch what you're doing. I don't like this one either. Like, some of the other... Fuck. You can't hit the air canister and... because it gives you air, it gives you oxygen. Fuck me, come on. Already down to 1 fucking heart. Because it's stupid. Cause see, I'm primed for Maple Story. And the jump mechanics is different. Like, here, jump is control. On Maple Story, jump is, alt. And in this game, alt is the fire button. So I get mixed up really easily. So it's like I'm trying to shoot when I'm actually jumping and jumping when I'm shooting and vice versa. So it's just kind of really annoying. I mean, have you ever like played a game like that so much that like you're so used to the controls being, you know, something totally different than a different game? Like I would find myself like playing, you know, not just Maple Story but something else that involves, you know, certain key strokes or whatever, and then all of a sudden like you're playing a different game and then the controls are completely different, so then it's like you have to compensate, and then like a lot of times you end up fucking up because of it. So yeah, that's happened quite a lot. I mean, more so recently since I've been playing Maple Story. And Maple Story has, you know, the inverted controls, so it's just kind of a pain in the ass sometimes when you're trying to play something like this. I knew that it was going to give me a problem when I started playing this, so today. Because I've been like kind of like not really hardcore, but playing quite a lot of Maple Story lately, so. Okay, that guy is dead. We got a lot of bullets, so that's awesome. So you have to get all these levers here. And there's another one. We didn't get the green one, I think, because the red one was by the douchebag dinosaur thing. So, okay, that was a jump that I didn't think I was going to make. Okay, there's the green one. Okay. So we're just going to wait for that guy to come back and we'll jump on it. Jump on it! Jump on it! And get these guys in the corner here. Okay. Now we'll make our way back. And we should be almost close to catching all these little things here. We'll just grab that. Fuck! I did it, but then I didn't do it. So I'm actually going to pause this for a second and I will be right back. And we're back. Sorry about that. I had to use the facilities. My stomach was hurting for some reason. I have no idea why. So we're back. And we'll probably only be able to do this run through of the episode, or this run through of the level, and hopefully we'll beat it, because we were like so fucking close. Like, we were on one heart, and the last bit, which comes down here along the side, leads right into a pit of spikes, and you're supposed to move aside right before you hit that, you know, spike, you know, pit. But I didn't do it right. Like, I did, but then I, like, jumped into the pit next to it and ended up killing us. So, that was unfortunate, but it does happen, unfortunately, because life. And we're on the last part again, because I let this douchebag kill me, or hurt me. If it wasn't for the fact that he was moving, he'd like blend in like really good with this background here, because it's the same color green as he is. See, back in this day, like of games, they only had like a palette of so many colors, so they had to make do with what they had. So having, you know, a bunch of colors was not really known back in these. Fuck. Back in this era of like late 80s, early 90s, when DOS games were still like a really big thing. DOS games only had, you know, a certain color palette. Like, they couldn't, you know, get as fancy schmancy as, you know, other games later on. So, you know, games like these paved the way for, you know, bigger and better games later on. So these side-scrolling platform games like the DOS games, or even the Nintendo games, were like the building blocks of gaming. So like these kind of games here, though, they were less hand-holdy and more, you know, get good or get out, you know, kind of. I mean, even like the older, you know, Nintendo Super Mario's and all that kind of stuff were hard and unforgiving. They were like, get good or go home, you know. So basically, like, you had a choice of, you know, learning how to play the game or just sucking so hard that you just didn't play. And I was like one of those people, kind of like, I didn't have like these kind of games. I mean, I had the DOS games, but I didn't have my first Nintendo game was a Game Boy game. I had a Game Boy, So I never had a console. I didn't have NES or Super NES or anything like that. My cousin did, and I mentioned this a lot of times about my cousin and his Super Nintendo. But when it came to console games, I didn't have them. So growing up, the first console that I ever had wasn't in 64, but it wasn't in 64. No, it was a it was a NES, but it was like a NES because it was being sold at a flea market. So it wasn't new, like bought new, and I was playing it new. It was actually, you know, an NES that I got from a flea market. So we get into these things like way late, basically. I didn't get my I got N64, and my first 3 games for that was Mario 64. It was some sort of triple trouble or something like that. And then it was Pokemon Snap. So those were like my games as a kid. And this is like when these things were coming out, but those are the only 3 games that I had for it. I did take it with me one time when I was staying with my mom up in Reno, and I got to rent a game, but it was a game that looked really cool, but was actually kind of crap in the long run. So. Okay, so that should have been... Okay, I'm just gonna die because you need to turn off the one in the corner first, because that turns this off. Because that's a laser. So, anywhoozle. But these games here, Crystal Caves, Commander Keen. I didn't actually have Commander Keen growing up. I had this, and I had like Lemmings. I'm not going to play Lemmings on this channel because that game is like, you can play one game of it or a couple of the levels, and that's about it, because it's so difficult. If you don't know what Lemmings is, it's like it's a game where you have to save these little duders. Fuck me. You have to save these little duders, lemmings, essentially. And they're like, they follow your instruction, basically. So you have to lead them, the path of least resistance to the exit. So they drop down this trap door thing, and they're these little teeny tiny things, little pixelated things, and they're running across the screen, and you give them, like, different, tasks to accomplish, to, you know, survive, and get to the exit. And one of them is like, you have to build a bridge, or you have to build, stairs, or clear out a section. So essentially it's like, yeah, it's just essentially like you have to build your way out. So it's kind of, well, there's gonna be a gravity thing here. Okay, well, anyway, that's gonna be, but anyway, Lemmings is like you just move them from point A to point B, and you have to get them, you have to get them to where they're, you know, they drop down and they move across and they get to the exit. And some of the levels are so insane that, like, you have to have, like, a mastermind brain in order to figure out, like, how to get them. And you have to get, like, a certain amount. Like, you can't just get, like, one. You have to get, like, either 100%, which is all of them, or 90%, or 80% or whatever, but you have to get whatever the percentage is and, you know, get them safely, because some of them you have to actually blow up because you put a stopper there which deters them from going any further, and so it's like a guy that has like his hand like out like this stopping them, and then they just turn around and go the other way. So if you have one on either end, they just keep going back and forth until you blow that one up, and then they'll just keep going. But it's kind of fun, but it's also really taxing. And some of the levels, like the first like 3 or 4 levels, are pretty easy, but then it starts getting harder from there. So I just basically kind of just never played it. So I'm not gonna play it on this channel. But there is another thing that I might attempt to do, and it's E-Zone. And if you don't know what E-Zone is, it's another like website type thing that has a lot of games on it. I found it a long time ago when I was a kid. It was E-Zone, Billy Bear for Kids, and like a lot of the various fan sites for Michael Jackson and when I was a kid. So Billy Bear for Kids is just basically like a place where you can get like coloring pages, and there's some flash games and some really shitty other stuff. But apparently they took it down just recently, because I tried going there the other day and it didn't come up, so they must have finally took it down after so many years. But E-Zone is still a thing. They actually made a game for your phone, and it's called Journey of Secrets. And what that is it's a fidget spinner game. And I'm not sponsored by this or anything, but it's called Journey of Secrets, and it's a game where it involves a fidget spinner, and like, what's the most popular thing right now? Fidget spinners. So that's my fidget spinner right now. This one here, and it moves with your phone, so you can see like it flat, or you know, when you tilt it this way, it'll be sideways or whatever. So it's pretty cool. You just tap it, and it starts spinning. Just tap the middle, and then it starts spinning. So that's pretty cool. But they have like some other games for like iOS, and they got some flash games that you can play on the site itself. And one of the more famous characters is Lenny Loosejocks, and they had a walkabout. And these people are from Perth, Australia, so they have like all their characters are like Australian based, and they have like Australian accents and stuff. So it's actually really cool. So I was thinking of like playing some of the older games. Maybe not actual Lenny Loosejocks' Walkabout, but because it's like an extensive game in itself, because it's got multiple facets. But some of the games from Lenny Loosejocks, and maybe some other things that they did, because that's also nostalgic for me, because I played those things when I was a kid. So my timer went off like a long time ago. I cut it off like 24 seconds early, because I didn't want to have it go off in the middle of my speech. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, thanks. Follow me on Twitter, or like this video, like it. 95 subscribers. I need 5 more for 100. So be sure to do subscribe. Over here will be a video. You could check it out. Just click on it. It will take you to a video. My face, just for the subscribe. Click on that and you know, stroke it, slap it, give it a high five, whatever you want to do with it. As long as you click it and subscribe, and there's a bell icon thing about notifications. Click on that and make sure you're notified when I do videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday or Sunday. And over here will be a link to the merchandise store. You can get a t-shirt, tote bag for right now. 2 different designs on the t-shirts and 1 design on the tote bag, but you can get one of those merchandise thingies for yourself if you're interested. And that will be all for today, so thanks so much for watching again, and I'll see you next time, everybody. Bye bye.